So it seems like Marvel and Disney and even Kevin Feige might finally be waking up to the fact that fans don't like the direction that they've been going in with Marvel. They don't like the direction that they've been going with on the Disney Plus shows or even the movies. Let's check it out. If you enjoy videos like this, if you enjoy Marvel news, Star Wars news with no punches pulled, then hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the video. So like I've been saying in my last few videos, I don't think there's any way that Kevin Feige, the person who built the MCU up from the ground up, and I know that he had help along the way. I know it just wasn't him, but he was the main one. He was the one that was there from the beginning and he never left. He's there from the beginning and he built it up to where it was at the peak whenever it hit Endgame. I don't think there's any way that that person is in his right mind. He has full power over the MCU, and he's signing off on shows like She-Hulk. He's signing off on even movies like Black Widow, or like Captain Marvel. But at least whenever Captain Marvel came out, he was smart enough to sandwich it in between Infinity War and Endgame. He had a little tease for it at the end of Infinity War, so he knew how to make that movie make money, even though he knew that nobody would actually like the movie because it's an extremely unlikable character, it's an extremely unlikable actress, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with Black Widow. I mean, Scarlett Johansson is definitely not as bad as Brie Larson, I'll tell you that. He knew that it wasn't going to have the big draw that most other MCU movies have because Black Widow is just not that interesting of a character, if I'm being honest with you. It doesn't have any type of superpowers. It's kind of like a really boring Batman. You know what I mean? It's just not a movie that people want to go see in masses. And I think that Kevin Feige is I think that She-Hulk actually might have red-pilled Kevin Feige to the fact that the MCU isn't immortal. The MCU can actually fail if they keep going in this direction, if they keep going as hard on the woke stuff, if they keep putting out movies and shows that, for one, people just don't have that much interest in, because She-Hulk, it's just not going to have that much interest, even if it was the best show ever. It's kind of similar to Andor. Everybody's saying Andor is better than The Mandalorian. It just doesn't have that big draw, and that's the same thing with She-Hulk. Like, even if She-Hulk was the best Marvel show ever, even the best Marvel content ever, it's just not going to have that big draw. And the fact that they made it so horribly and they, tried to troll the fans and all that stuff, it makes the numbers even worse. So now this rumor, this from Bounding Into Comics, and trust me, they have a lot of sources. They're right a lot on these rumors, like a lot. This rumor says Marvel scaling back Black Panther Wakanda Forever merch plans out of concern that sequel's lack of T'Challa may alienate black male audiences. I'm gonna break it to you. It's not just black male audiences, it's just male audiences in general. Whatever you do, this all female stuff, it alienates it alienates your male audience, but the male audience is the main people that they're making money off of for these movies and these shows. And for some reason, that's like an uncomfortable truth. For some reason, I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to acknowledge that as a fact, even though we all know it's true. We all know that these movies and these shows have been geared towards men for the longest time, and that's because it's mostly men consuming these movies and these shows. It's not that difficult, and it shouldn't be like a harsh reality. That's just the reality. It shouldn't be that hard to just admit. Though titular African superheroes brand has done gangbusters for Marvel's financial backend ever since his debut, a new rumor suggests that the studio is scaling back its merchandising plans for Black Panther Wakanda Forever out of concern that the sequel's focus on the franchise's female characters could partially alienate the character's key consumer demographic of black men. I'm gonna tell you, man, I have a lot of friends, black and white, who really love Black Panther, including myself. I used to say that Thor Ragnarok was my favorite MCU movie, but I think over time it's become Black Panther more and more. And now, like, especially after Chadwick Boseman passed away, like, that movie just hits different. And I think that Black Panther is probably my favorite MCU movie. I love Killmonger. I think Killmonger is awesome. That's really what separates certain MCU movies for me from the other ones, is the good villain. So like the Infinity War, Endgame, love Thanos as a villain, but Killmonger is probably my favorite MCU villain. And just the soundtrack of that movie is so cool. I think it's probably my favorite MCU movie. But now I'm probably not even gonna watch it. I'm probably not gonna watch the second one, because why would I? It's not made for me. It's made by people and for people who hate me, who hate my existence. So I'm probably not gonna watch it. Unless people come out and say that it's extremely good, I'm not going to watch it. I just have no interest. And it's not like, I'm not boycotting it. I'm not saying like my dollar is going to mean so much to Disney, like, because it doesn't matter if I watch it or not. And it's not even out of hatred. It's just like, I'm not going to spend 2 hours of my life watching something that I know I'm not going to like. It's just that simple. A major topic of discussion among both fans and analysts was just how Disney and Marvel would tackle the future of Wakanda's resident hero without the franchise's star. By the way, rest in peace to Chadwick, man. That really hurt whenever he passed away. That really sucks. Yet with the slow trickling out of the film's promotional material, it soon became evident that the sequel would center around T'Challa's female allies, including his sister Shuri, I'm not even going to try to pronounce all these names, his former love interest Nakia, and their newfound companion Riri Williams. However, despite Black Panther's brand having become one of Marvel's biggest... Dude, there's the toes again. Why does every time I go on this website, the toes pop up? And everybody's going to be like, you know, turn on your ad block. I'm telling you, it's on. It's right here. It's on. It's on, bro. The toes will never go away. However, despite the Black Panther brand having become one of Marvel's biggest, particularly among black audiences, it appears that Wakanda Forever's lack of a male lead and to a certain extent, Boseman's performance specifically has the studio taking a far more cautious approach to the film's merchandising. I think that this is like not just the Black Panther. It's not just a Black Panther problem. You know, this is a much larger problem that I think they're finally understanding. I don't know if it's Kevin Feige or if it's the Disney execs, the Marvel execs. Somebody is finally getting red pilled over here by probably the failure of She-Hulk, I would say. Because it's an utter failure when a Marvel project, it's an utter failure when a Disney project in general is left off the Nielsen ratings. It's extreme failure whenever a Disney Marvel project gets left off the Nielsen ratings. They lied about it, knowing that it was going to fail that bad. Everyone knew it was going to fail that bad. And they still lied about it and said that it was #1 on the charts and that Andor was #2. We all knew that was a lie. And they lied about it. And then, you know, the critics give it at 85. The audience gives it a 30-something. I think it's down to like 34% now after that finale, which was god-awful. So it's not only is it not performing in the numbers, but it's not doing well in the perception either, man. And you could say all you want, like, it doesn't matter how bad these movies do in perception and Rotten Tomato scores. It doesn't matter. They're still going to make money. But if you continue doing this over and over and over, you're going to lose fans, man. Eventually it's going to happen. You're going to lose profits. And it's going to take a lot of work to get this built back up. It took a lot of time for the MCU to become a billion-dollar movie machine. And it's taken a very short time for them to not, you know, for them to ruin that, for them to not be a billion-dollar movie machine anymore. And a lot of that came from, obviously, the pandy that happened and all that. But a lot of it is also because of just their reputation being tarnished. According to alleged insider sources whose insights were relayed directly to Bounding Into Comics by entertainment reporter and insider Valiant Renegade. Damn, dude, Valiant Renegade is a reporter and insider now? Shout out to Renegade, man. That's awesome. Many licensed product manufacturers have cut back on their Black Panther products versus more standard mapping for their categories in respect to what they would usually do with a property with an upcoming over $1 billion exposure push. This means either limiting Wakanda Forever's line depth and or smaller production runs, which entail higher per unit cost but reduces inventory exposure, he added. And there is Valiant's video. So yeah, pretty much what they're saying is they're scaling back the merchandising for Black Panther because the people who were mostly buying this stuff are not only men, but black men. And the fact that you don't have any men as the main characters of this show, and, you know, previously the main, I guess, consumers of this stuff, of the merchandising were black men. If you don't have any men that's going to be in the merchandise, then men are probably not going to end up buying it. So it's smart of them to do that. But why do this? Like, why make a movie that's mostly consumed by men all about women? It just doesn't make any sense, man. This is eventually going to backfire big time. Hopefully they actually are learning their lesson and they are scaling back the merchandising. Hopefully they just completely learn it though and just stop doing this all female stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think She-Hulk really had an effect on Black Panther and how the MCU is going to move forward in the future? Do you think that they'll actually be able to save the MCU, or do you just think it's doomed in general? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link to that will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.